Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Cooper, and welcome back to SIS Film Breakdowns. The next division we are going to highlight is the NFC South. When looking at our draft grades, the division did well overall, picking up some solid players on both sides of the ball. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of the prospects drafted into this division that are likely to make an impact. First up is the Atlanta Falcons. With the first round pick, the Falcons drafted Clemson corner AJ Terrell to help fill the void left by free agent Desmond Trufant. In the second round, they beefed up the defensive front by taking Marlon Davidson out of Auburn. In the middle of the draft, Atlanta filled the second level of the defense by taking Michael Walker out of Fresno State. Let's take a little closer look at what Walker could bring to the Falcons defense. Walker measured in at 6 feet 3 inches, 230 pounds in Indianapolis, and he performed pretty well in drills with a 4.65 40, a 4.25 shuttle, and a 7.09 3-cone. A versatile linebacker and team captain, Walker played his first 2 years with Azusa Pacific before coming to Fresno State and being named first team All-Mountain West each of the last 2 seasons. The Falcons drafted Walker in the 4th round with pick number 119 overall. We're going to watch a couple of plays from last season's game against USC. On this first play, Walker is lined up here in the middle, and it's going to be an inside zone play from USC. At the snap, Walker shuffles toward the ball as he reacts to the mesh point, and left tackle and first round pick Austin Jackson climbs to the second level to take Walker. Walker does a good job here not shying away, taking him head on, getting his hands up, which allows him to shed Jackson aside and go get in on the tackle. The next play is a 4th and 1 late in the game. Walker is standing up right on the ball in the B gap. It's going to be a quick hitting run up the middle to try and move the chains, and this first look is at real speed. At the snap, Walker explodes off the ball and through the gap to get into the backfield. And not only does he get in the backfield, but he's able to tackle both him and the quarterback at once to force the turnover on downs. When we get to the tight view here, we can see how wide USC's split is. It really gives an open lane basically for Walker to run through. And Walker gets a really good jump off the line, able to get through the gap into the backfield before the quarterback can even hand the ball off and make the tackle for a turnover on downs, which is a good athletic play for Walker here. Walker has the versatility to allow Atlanta to move him around in their defense. When comparing his 2018 season when he played defensive end versus 2019 when he played more off ball, he was very productive both years. One thing that stands out is the total points drop off. Although his total points fell as a pass rusher and run defender from 2018 to 2019, his total points in coverage increased last season. Now let's move to the Carolina Panthers. At number 7, the Panthers beefed up their defense with Auburn defensive tackle Derek Brown. This was a common theme for Carolina throughout the draft as all 8 of their picks came from the defensive side of the ball. After Brown, they took Penn State edge rusher Yetur Gross-Matos and then Southern Illinois safety Jeremy Chin. Both are raw but really good athletes that can be moved around and should make an impact early on for that defense. We're going to take a look at one of their late round selections in defensive tackle Bravion Roy out of Baylor. Roy wasn't invited to the combine, but was listed at 6'1", 333 pounds on Baylor's website. Roy reunites with new Panthers head coach Matt Rule, having spent the last couple of seasons together at Baylor. A first-team All-Big 12 performer in 2019, Roy and teammate James Lynch paired up as one of the most productive defensive line duos in college football. Carolina selected Roy in the 6th round, number 184 overall. Let's take a look at a couple plays from his 2019 game against Kansas State. This first play is a run play. This view is at real speed to see just how quick he gets into the backfield. It's a power run off tackle to the right with Roy lined up in a 0. And at the snap, Roy explodes off the line with a good rip into the backfield. The center isn't able to get his hands up quick enough, and Roy gets through the line, meets the back about 3 yards deep for the tackle. On this other view, we can see Roy rip through the center and use his strength and power to get to the back and take him down for a loss. Roy is again lined head up on the center and will now get a look at his pass rush ability. At the snap, he gets off the ball quickly again, slants to his right, and gets his hands up on the guard with good leverage and push into the backfield. Roy throws the guard aside as he and his teammates collapse the pocket for the sack. Roy is a big body that could contribute against both the run and pass as a rotational defensive lineman in the middle for Carolina. Last season, he collected 59 tackles, which tied for second among all defensive tackles, and his 43 pressures ranked 4th. The New Orleans Saints had the fewest picks in the 2019 draft class, only taking 4 players. Their first-round pick was Michigan center Cesar Ruiz. After drafting Eric McCoy early last season, Ruiz looks to be a depth piece on the interior early on. Wisconsin edge rusher Zach Bond and Dayton tight end Adam Troutman both were taken in the 3rd round. They gave up a pick next year to hop back into the end of the draft to select quarterback Tommy Stevens out of Mississippi State, who some think could be used in certain packages. In this breakdown, I'm going to highlight Wisconsin's Zach Bond. At the combine, Bond measured in at 6 feet, 2 and 3/8 inches, 238 pounds. He put up some solid numbers in drills, which included a 4.65 40-yard dash, a 7-second flat three cone, and 24 reps on the bench. Bond broke out in 2019, being named a second-team AP All-American and a Butkus Award finalist. The Saints were able to grab him in the third round with pick number 74 overall. We're going to take a look at two plays from last season's game against Ohio State. On this first play, Bond is lined up in the short slot over the receivers, but it's going to be a run play up the middle. Now, at the snap of the ball, Bond does a good job squeezing down as he reads the mesh in the backfield. Once he sees that the ball is handed off to Dobbins, Bond bursts and accelerates quickly to grab Dobbins and hold him to a short gain here in the middle of the field. Now let's take a look at what Bond brings as a pass rusher. He's lined up here on the edge over the tight end to the offense's right. Now, at the snap of the ball, he fires off to the inside and dips and rips to get into the backfield. Fields pulls the ball and rolls out to the right, but Bond does a good job of staying in pursuit. His relentlessness and high motor allow him to fight through the tight end and track down the quarterback for a big loss. Bond brings versatility to New Orleans in that he can line up on the edge and rush the passer or play off the ball to play in coverage or stop the run. When looking at last season's numbers, his 57 pressures tied for 7th among all defensive ends and linebackers, while his 29 run defense total points led all edge defenders that were featured in the SIS Football Rookie Handbook. And finally, we get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They traded up one spot from 14 to 13 to take Iowa offensive lineman Tristan Wirfs, who surprisingly was still on the board. He'll help an offensive line that has struggled for some time now. In the second round, they selected Antoine Winfield, a versatile ball hawk from Minnesota. Despite his size, he brings versatility and playmaking skills to the secondary. Their next two selections are who we'll take a look at: Vanderbilt running back Keyshawn Vaughn and Minnesota wide receiver Tyler Johnson. First up for the Buccaneers is Keyshawn Vaughn. Vaughn measured in at 5 feet, 9 and 5/8 inches, 214 pounds at the combine. He chose to do 3 drills, which included a 4.5 140, 32-inch vertical, and a 9-foot 9-inch broad jump. A transfer from Illinois, Vaughn put up 1,000-yard-plus seasons on the ground both years with the Commodores, only the third running back in program history to put up multiple 1,000-yard seasons. Tampa Bay drafted him in the third round, 76th overall. Let's take a look at two plays from his 2018 bowl game against Baylor. This first play is a zone run to the left in which Vaughn is going to cut back across the grain to the right. And this first look is at real speed. At the snap, we see the patience he has as he waits for the hole to open. Once he sees that cutback lane, he shows good burst and acceleration through the hole. He's able to step through a tackle and take it all the way for a long touchdown run as he breaks through that last tackle there. Now on the tight copy, we can see the patience that Vaughn has. Right here, we can see that this hole opens up. He can see the cutback alley, and really, Vaughn sees it quickly. Sees it open up, bursts through the line, and outruns the defense here for a touchdown. This next run is sort of a counter look out of pistol by Vanderbilt. The right guard is going to pull to the left, and the tight end also crosses to the left to lead out in front of Vaughn. And this view is also at real speed. Vaughn does a good job staying patient once he gets the handoff, allowing his blockers to get out in front of him and lead the way. The defender tries to meet him in the hole, but he's able to give a strong stiff arm to get by. It's 2 more defenders close in. He's shifty enough to slide through those tackle attempts, then sticks his foot in the ground and gets upfield with good acceleration. It's originally called a touchdown, but then gets called out at the 1. Now on this next view here, we can really see, once we slow things down, that he has the good patience to allow his blockers to set up. He gets a good stiff arm on there to break the tackle, breaks through those, and then watch right here as he sets his foot in the ground and then accelerates upfield with good burst. Isn't able to get all the way in for a touchdown, but is able to get all the way down to the 1-yard line. Vaughn gives Tampa Bay a change of pace back behind Tom Brady that can produce on the ground as a runner or in the passing game as a receiver or pass protector. On the ground during his career, he averaged 6.2 yards per carry with 24 touchdowns and a 60% positive play rate outside the tackles. Through the air, he racked up over 500 yards, averaging 8.5 yards per target. Now let's take a look at Tyler Johnson. At the combine, Johnson measured in at 6 feet, 1 and 3/8 inches, 206 pounds, However, he chose to only do position drills and no testing while in Indianapolis. A first team All Big Ten performer the past 2 seasons and a team captain, Johnson leaves Minnesota with over 20 school records, including most career receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. The Buccaneers selected him in the 5th round with pick number 161 overall. We're going to take a look at a couple plays from this past season's games against Penn State and Nebraska. This first play against Penn State sees Johnson lined up as the single receiver to the left of the formation. Off the line, Johnson gives a lot of stutters at the line, probably too many, especially for the next level. But once he gets into the route and fades, he tracks the ball really well all the way in for the grab. He's also able to shake off the defender, stay in bounds, and take it in for the score. Though we just saw Johnson win on the outside, he's much more comfortable in the slot where he'll likely see most of his snaps at the next level and on this play against Nebraska. He's the number 2 on the left side of the offensive formation and is going to run a simple slant route here to the middle of the field. The defender is slightly playing with inside leverage because he's playing near the line. Johnson can't really run at him to level him up without making contact and possibly getting rerouted. So at the snap, he instead goes to the outside to open up the defender a little bit. After a couple of stutter steps and a jab to the outside, Johnson gets the defender to hop outside, leaving him with a much better lane to the middle of the field. The quarterback puts the ball right on him, and he's able to make the grab and convert on a 3rd and short for the first down. Johnson was the most prolific receiver on slant routes in college football last season, and now we can see why. Johnson provides Tampa Bay a weapon in the slot where he can win short or deep with good route running ability and strong hands. Looking at last season, he turned in a 60% positive play rate against man coverage and a 68% rate against zone. He was a reliable target, posting a receiver rating of 134.5, which ranked 15th in college football. Now what questions need to be answered moving forward in the NFC South? Can the Saints run away with the division again, but this time make some noise in the playoffs? Just 4 years removed from a Super Bowl run, can Atlanta's explosive offense help them to more wins? Can the new-look Buccaneers compete for the division title with the likes of Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and company? Will a new regime in Carolina get things back on track for the Panthers? We'll see what sort of contributions the 2020 draft class has on the NFC South over the next few seasons and find out what the answers are to these questions. Make sure to go get the SIS Football Rookie Handbook or register for a free trial on the SIS DataHub to see all of these stats and more for every player, and also tune in each week to the Off the Charts podcast. Thanks for watching SIS Film Breakdowns.